فرصة الخامس السادس يا ولدي السادس يا ولد.
Don't get scared, but that is the reality. That is the team India will be facing next in their World Cup and Asian Cup qualifiers. That is Qatar, the Asian champions, who in their first game versus Afghanistan thumped 6 goals. 6 goals at home. Thank you so much for joining us on 420 grams as we're building up to India's next game in the Asian and of course Asian Cup and World Cup qualifiers. India taking on Qatar Tuesday 10 p.m. India time. I'm joined in studio by Siddhant Dani, and we'll also be joined by someone who knows Qatar football and the Qatar football team really well. John Wilkinson, he's a former Singapore international. He's also got an India connect because he played for Salgaocar Football Club in Goa for 6 to 8 months. So we'll get his thoughts on Qatar and everything about that team.
Who has played for Salgaocar, Pandit?
So the two Salgaocar players were talking to each other. That'll come a little later on the show. But first up, bhai, just the fact that Qatar, Asian champions, उसके बाद Copa America, 1-0 they lost to Colombia, 2-2 they drew with another team, I thought it was Paraguay I think, and 2-0 they lost to Argentina. Is this India's biggest game? Keeping in mind the competition, keeping in mind the opposition, and keeping in mind that you're playing away from home, is this India's biggest game in a decade?
Yeah, probably. Also, given the fact that we are talking about qualification essentially for the 2023 Asian Cup.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking at, because Qatar, being the host of the 2022 World Cup, have automatically qualified for that tournament. So what they are playing for, as well as pretty much what India are playing for, especially after the loss to Oman, is qualifying for the Asian Cup. So you're playing the Asian champions in your second game, your first game away from home in the qualifying schedule. It most definitely is the biggest game, and look at the
bigger than the Asian Cup games that we just played right now.
Oh yeah, definitely bigger than the Asian Cup game, because at that stage you're already there at the tournament and there are no expectations, no real there's no real pressure. Here you're still, I mean, we are at the beginning of the qualifying process. आपने 10 मैच और खेलने हैं
और आप पहला मैच
हार चुके हैं, तो प्रेशर थोड़ा बिल्ड हो रहा है. एंड ऑल्सो जो मोमेंटम बिल्डिंग की हम बात कर रहे थे, पहले 4 मैचेस में कितने पॉइंट ले पाएंगे इंडिया, तो उस हिसाब से भी अगर देखा जाए तो आई थिंक काफी इंपॉर्टेंस रखता है अ गुड परफॉर्मेंस फ्रॉम द टीम, irrespective of what happens with the result, because results are at this stage for India still secondary, but a solid performance against Qatar at home will go a long way to setting up the rest of how this qualifying process will go. But easier said than done all of this.
मैं वही कहने वाला था जी अभी. Easier said than done. उन्होंने मतलब they have bombarded Afghanistan and how in that game. But nonetheless, since we're facing Qatar now, so we've, like I said at the start of the show, we're joined by someone who of course is commentator on most of Qatar's games in the AFC Asian Cup, former Singapore international, and of course who's also played in India with Salgaocar Football Club. I spoke to John Wilkinson a while back.
Well, it was a strange tournament, I think, for them, because I think they surprised themselves a great deal. You know, afterwards, the Asian Cup, they said, oh, we knew we had this type of result in us. I'm not sure if they believed that. I think that was more... A lot of these players come from the Aspire Academy. And coming into the tournament, when I was doing my research on them, I thought they were just a very talented youth side, really, a very talented academy side. But it seemed like they grew throughout the Asian Cup. It seemed like with every result, with every goal, they just became better and better and better and more confident. And they are an incredibly strong side, I have to say that.
Yeah, it's not good news for any Indian fans who are watching this show right now, John, because after that they've gone and played the Copa America. They've played against teams like Colombia, then they played against Argentina and Lionel Messi. What can we expect? What can we expect as far as an Indian fan is concerned? What is the style of play? Is there a unique style of play with which Qatar operates in a game?
Certainly, like with most very good sides, with most strong sides now, they play with a lot of pace. Although they have Felix Sanchez in charge of them, who has known a lot of these boys for a long time, since they were teenagers, it's not a style of play. It's not a possession-based style of play. They're happy to soak and counter, and because they have so much pace, especially in the wide areas with the likes of Roro, who would play right wing-back or right midfield, was born in Portugal. They've got players that are happy to just nick the ball in their half, and on the counter-attack, they will absolutely ruin you. It's going to be a game I think a lot of the Indian players will enjoy playing in, because they will have large parts of possession. As a word of caution, if they give up that possession quickly, they will get countered on very, very fast. They've really got to look out for the likes of Almoaz Ali up top. But the key man, the star man for them is Akram Asif, who's on loan I think he's playing for Al Sadd now. He's on loan from Villarreal. He is absolutely awesome. And it's difficult to mark him because he plays in between the lines and drifts out onto the wing. And that's who the Qataris get the ball to very, very quickly.
John, I have to ask you, because when we played Oman recently in the first, of course, game of the World Cup qualifier, no, Oman was a completely different team. They were happy to sit back. They were happy to move the ball around very slowly, and then someone would make a run somewhere. Then I saw the Qatar game versus Afghanistan, and they were breaking in front in lines of 5 and 6. 5 and 6, you know. So does that tell you something about what India has to face? Because India can't, like you said, concentration levels have to be on top for the 90 minutes, right?
Well, as you know yourself, I mean, you've played football for a long time at a high level. You're only really going to get results if you have different styles of play to go to. You have your plan A, your plan B. What they like to do is play with this back five. I mean, they will have a back three of Bulem Kuki, Bassam Al-Rawi, who was born in Iraq, who I think they're outstanding centre-back, by the way. And they will have those two marshalling and bringing Roro back. They will bring Abdul Hatem back at left-back. And they will have a back five, very, very solid. What they will do from there on, as soon as they win the ball, Roro on the right-hand side will bomb forward, and his starting position will be on the halfway line. And then they have Abdul Hatem on left-back who will bomb, and he'll be on the halfway line as well. They're not looking to keep possession. They really don't care about possession football at all. They really don't care. All they want you to do is come at them so they can get in behind. And we know with the Indian sides, if anybody's watched Indian national football over the last decade, you'll see that India are actually trying to play a good brand of football. The fans demand it now. We know that. So they want India to come at them. India have to be very careful. If you're going to attack Qatar, you have to keep possession, but then quicken things up in the final third.
John, but, honestly speaking, I know India wants to, improve their style of play, possession-based style of play. But honestly speaking... I know what you're going to say. Yeah, I know. But the thing is, I don't think we're going to be keeping possession, because we're also kind of team that loves to break on the counter, Get that, that ball in, play those 3-4 quick passes and move in front. So then what happens? Because we gave Oman so much space. We gave them so much space. They were doing whatever they want with the ball. And in all likelihood, because we're playing in Doha as well, we're going to be sitting back 10 behind the ball, 11 behind the ball if need be.
Yeah, the difference between India wanting to soak and counter and Qatar wanting to soak and counter, Qatar are comfortable giving up possession and then just filling in the gaps. I don't think India are as comfortable filling in the gaps and being comfortable without the ball. You have to be, at this level we're playing at now, we're talking about World Cup qualifiers. There are no mugs, as we say. There are no fools at international level. You have to be supreme elite athletes to play without the ball. I've spent a lot of my career playing without the ball, and it's tough, it's horrible. You've got to be humble enough to leave the ball alone and just fill in the gap and do the ugly side of the game. The Qatar players, despite the fact that these are now superstars and Asian champions, they're still hungry and humble enough to do the ugly side of the game. If India are prepared to do the ugly side of the game, well, good chance. I really believe that. Qatar will give you a chance in front of goal, but my goodness, you got to take it, and you got to take everything they give you.
Yeah, you just got the words right out of my mouth now, John. But of course, when you're talking about Qatar, everyone's talking about Almoaz Ali. Just tell us about what you make of this guy, because we saw glimpses of him at the Asian Cup, and he was unstoppable, John. And they're saying there's European interest now in that player as well.
I try not to get carried away with what I saw with him in the Asian Cup. I still thought he was a little bit raw. You still saw him taking shots from 35 yards on an angle on his left foot when it wasn't really off balance. But his movement is fantastic. I still don't think he's the greatest finisher on the continent. I still think there's better finishers in our neck of the woods. But his movement is so good. He will always get 4 or 5 chances, and he gets a couple. We saw him score that hat-trick against Afghanistan recently, and he really is electric. What you will find is he's always in a bit of a shoot-off to try and be the main man with his strike partner, Akram Afif. And I'm not sure, and they're 22, 23 years old together. And they're both quite arrogant, which you have to be. If you're going to play up top, you've got to be quite arrogant. You have to have that about you. I'm not sure they get on too well. And I don't think they link up too well, but they're both so pacey. If you concentrate on one, the other one will pop up. But Almoaz Ali scores all types of goals. I think by the time he's about 27, he'll be almost a complete striker.
Finally, John, what every Indian fan wants to hear. Give us the good news. Tell us India is going to cause an upset. Tell us that, John.
Oh, certainly they can. Certainly they can. I mean, it's why we watch the game, right? It's why we watch the game. There is no foregone conclusion. I really believe this. You know, India's not playing against... They're not playing against France. They're not playing against Brazil. They're playing against the best of this continent, which means that you can get at Qatar. You can cause them problems. I saw it in the final, Japan against Qatar. If Japan had taken their chances early on, then they would have won that game. The fact of the matter is they didn't take their chances. India have some pace, as you've already mentioned on the count. They've got Sunil Chetri, who's got so much nous about him. I just want Sunil not to try and do too much. I want him to just stay where he does the damage in the final third. Give him the ball in the final third. They can really take it to Qatar. Look, they've definitely got a chance. I just think that India have really got to ride their luck.
All the best trying to make Sunil stay in one area of the pitch, John, because I don't think that's happening.
I know that.
Yeah.
I know that. I was crossing my fingers and toes just then. I mean, you know, when you're captaining your country and you're playing for your country, you're going to try and do everything possible to get the result. He's better suited playing in that final third and making some magic happen.
John, just one final question since we're talking Sunil over here. His graph, you know, generally when you talk about a normal footballer, that graph post 30-31 starts dipping a bit. But with Sunil, it's completely different. Post 30-31, and now he's of course 34.
Yeah.
That graph just keeps on rising. Fitness levels keep on rising. What's the word on Sunil as far as the Asian continent is concerned? How do they perceive Sunil as a striker and of course captain of India?
I think a lot of people are undecided on Sunil Chetri in Southeast Asia, at least. I think I think he'll go down as one of the best in Southern Asia. I played against Sunil when he was a lot younger, and he's never had great pace. I don't think he's ever been a supreme athlete, so to speak. So as he's gotten older, all he's done is just not got any slower, not really got any stronger, but just got a lot cleverer.
Yeah.
I just think he's got a lot smarter. And there's a lot to be said for the type of player that Sunil is, and any young players out there, and that countries have said, you're not quick enough, you're not strong enough. Don't worry about that. Work on your technical ability, and that's what Sunil's done. But I still believe on Sunil. I think they're undecided on in this part of the world. But I think he's fantastic. He's the type of player you always want to do well.
John, thank you so much for your time, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be troubling you over and over again now that we've of course spoken once with you. Thank you so much.
So, lovely to talk to you. Another Salgaonkar player. Lovely to talk to you.
Yeah, go Salgaonkar. Thank you so much, John. John, thank you so much for your time. Of course, shedding light on India's next opponents and the Asian champions, Qatar. But he said a very nice thing, and I said, listen, you can try as hard as you want. I don't think you're going to rein in Sunil Chetri to just one area of the pitch. Though he does make sense. He does make sense because he's saying you're not going to get too many opportunities versus Qatar. Yeah. And you can't afford to play it like the Oman game where you've created opportunities but you haven't taken them. He's saying those 1 or 2 or 3 maximum opportunities that you'll get in those 90 minutes, you've got to get at least 1 or 2 of them in.
Yeah. I mean, I think ये वाला rule तो standard across the board apply करता है अब. Because the way most teams are setting up tactically, technically, तो सब same level पे हैं, fitness level सबके ऊपर जा रहे हैं. तो आप जब chance create करते हैं, ऐसा नहीं होगा कि you'll have 20 shots on goal in a game. कभी नहीं होने वाला है. तो जो आपको, especially when you're playing with India, you're trying a new style, you're trying to build all of this stuff. जो आपको chance मिलते हैं, especially counter पे, 1-on-1 या 2-on-1 situations, we have to capitalize on those chances. It's pretty much the only chance we're going to get because set pieces are problematic. We don't have the size and the physicality to dominate in the box. Yeah. They are much bigger. They play physical.
Yeah.
Right? So where are the chances to score goals then? Essentially for us, it's all on those quick counters, which means good decision making from the players, great, good first touches, getting in, making that space, and then making it count in the box when you get the chance to.
So, he did make an interesting point. He said that, look, Qatar is not, because I was telling him, look, the way Oman played against India, we gave them all the space and time on the field, and they were just, doing their merry-go-round thing, and of course, they got those few chances and they buried them.
Yeah.
He's saying Qatar is not going to be that kind of team. They want you to have possession.
Sure.
They want you to come at them, and then when they take that ball from you, and you're completely, all over the place, your shape is all over the place, they break with so much speed and precision. In fact, the Afghanistan game, bhai, I was seeing some of the goals. Like when Oman scored versus us, right? There were probably 1 or 2 Omani players in the Indian box. When Qatar was scoring versus Afghanistan, there were 5 players in the box, man. 5 players in the box, bro. Insane, man. They'll come at you with all force. Huh?
Yeah.
The coach himself has said, look, even though we're guaranteed qualification, but we are not taking this thing lightly at all. Huh? And we are using this to, and we're going to show them the force of Qatar and how we come at them. So I don't think they're going to take it lightly at all.
No. Why would they? I mean, like, it's a rare actually advantage for the team, because usually क्या होता है, आप अगर वर्ल्ड कप होस्ट कर रहे हैं, आप ऑटोमेटिकली क्वालिफाई कर रहे हैं, तो आपको खेलने को नहीं मिलता है. यहाँ पे खेल भी रहे हैं और उसका कोई कंपेटिटिव एंड भी है, बिकॉज एटलीस्ट इनका जो एशियन कप वाला है वो तो क्वालिफाइंग, एंड they are pretty sure, I'm sure they want to bag it in the first shot, qualifying for the Asian Cup. I mean, otherwise it would be a bit sort of maybe mildly embarrassing for them.
But what do you make of this thing of possession, man? Dude, India keeping possession.
India keeping possession will be, again, so for India, I think that will be a different sort of a challenge.
I don't think they're going to keep possession.
Because it'll be pretty difficult for us to keep possession, to be honest,
I think
against
we're going to put 10
a
at the back.
skilled midfield side. अगर आप पोजेशन रख भी रहे हैं तो आप वही लैटरल बॉल खेलते रहेंगे इन द मिडल ऑफ द पिच, या पीछे खेलते रहेंगे, रीसेट करते रहेंगे ज्यादा, बिकॉज गोइंग फॉरवर्ड यू हैव टू, जो आप कह रहे थे पिछले गेम के असेसमेंट में कि हमारी जो सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत है वो मिडफील्ड में है. तो अगर मिडफील्ड में दिक्कत है, इसका मतलब एक तो क्रिएटिविटी लैकिंग है सबसे पहले तो, राइट? सो मे बी आई एम श्योर सहल विल प्ले दिस गेम.
So I
am 100% sure that Sahel will play.
Look,
I'm not sure.
How can you take Brandon out? Because in a game like this, where opportunities will be very few, you need someone, as soon as he gets the ball, he's there on that break with you. And Brandon is one of those guys who doesn't keep the ball for too long on his feet. He passes it and moves and quickly makes space. Sahel is a completely different kind of player. He needs time on the ball, he's moving it around like that. I don't think he's going to be given that much time on the ball versus Qatar.
We'll find out, but I do see him playing. I feel like maybe Thapa might start on the bench instead of Sahel this game. Also because...
And Rowland again.
There is the Rowland again, because he did play a pretty solid game by the overall standards of the midfield the other day. So what I was saying was, with the ball, especially going through the middle, I mean, एक तो problem होगी हमारे लिए, because if you see the goals against Afghanistan, जो इनका 1-2 through the middle passing है, काफी devastating है यार. अगर आपके बीच वाले डिफेंडर 2 मिनट सो गए या थोड़ा रिलैक्स कर गए या पढ़ नहीं पाए गेम को, तो बहुत बड़ी दिक्कत होने वाली है against a team like Qatar. And because we have these big sort of slightly slow central defenders who base the entire game on reading it, but the tackling isn't up to the mark, I think it's going to create a whole bunch of problems for us. And the other thing was, like, Oman, I think, looked to be also trying to play from the wings. These guys, from what I've seen, they look to play through the middle also as a great deal more. So it'll be a completely different set of challenges. And if we do have possession, in the first half, let's say we have 40-45% possession.
Really?
What we do with that 40-45% will be very interesting to see, because it's fine for everyone, man. It's fine for the other team. If आपके पास अपने हाफ में अगर बॉल है, आप वहीं पे खेल रहे हैं, आप अपना पोजेशन रख रहे हैं, तो उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. They'll just sit and wait for one loose ball and then jump.
पर भाई वो coach को भी तो यही पता है. Of course, they've done their analysis on the team. They've done their videos and all on the team. They would have also, if John is saying it, I'm sure the coach already knows that.
I'm sure he knows.
So he's going to set it up with 10 at the back. Get ready to break that counter,
Well,
That's the only way, because if you give them even an inch of space,
yeah.
like you're saying, not only do they come from the wings, they come from the middle as well.
Yeah.
And they break with 5 going forward,
Yeah.
6 going forward at times. And we're always talking about the way this team is going forward. Just let's not forget the fact that in the entire Asian Cup, they conceded 1 goal. That too in the final versus Japan.
Yeah.
Right? And John was telling us as well that their defense is top notch. They play with 3 when they're attacking, and then when they're coming back, they drop back to a 5. So that tells you about their fitness levels. Right? That they're going 5 in front and they're coming back 5 at the back as well.
The Qataris have been planning for the 2022 World Cup for a long time.
Yeah.
So this invitation that they got to play the Copa America, which in case you don't follow so much, is the Continental Championship in South America, where this year, 2 Asian teams, Japan and Qatar, both played, and they played these tournaments from a view of building their teams, getting the young players game time, exposing them to world-class sides like Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, all of the South American nations, different style of football completely, alien conditions, all of those things. So it's not the first time. I think Japan have played the Copa before. So there's a lot of planning that's going into it. 9 of these boys were in Spain playing club football, getting used to European training methods, competition. 9 out of the core group. And Felix Sanchez has come through the system with the boys. So he's extremely sort of intimately, he knows the players, he knows the system. And it's his system.
He's developed a system with those boys as they've gone along. Under 19 they won. Then of course they've come on to become Asian champions. And from that under 19 team, I think the core group of about 7-8 players were part of the senior team.
So and I mean, on the ground in Qatar at that Aspire Academy, they've established some of the, I don't know if did John speak about all this now?
He spoke a little bit about Aspire, No, not so
anyway,
much.
So at Aspire Academy, where Felix Sanchez was sort of the head of the football program, they've got a world-class training facility. It's football is the #1 sport in Qatar. Maybe they have some athletes and stuff as well. But in terms of popular sport, mass sport, जो लोग देखते हैं, football is the #1 sport. उनका league strong है, regional league strong है. तो मतलब, and they've shown यार कि 5 साल में they can become the best team in Asia. With a genuine hope. आज अगर आप world football भी देखें, तो strikers की genuine strikers की. I know you're saying कि Almoez Ali is not the key player. He might not be the key player, the linchpin. But the fact is, he's a genuine out-and-out striker who can finish the ball devastatingly well. You see how he cuts in from the left and puts it into the corner. Or in general, his finishing with both feet is so good.
And fast, man.
And quick. And मतलब ये नहीं कि गोल नहीं हुआ तो थोड़ा head down हो गया, dejected हो गए. लगे रहते हैं यार.
They have a point to prove, bhai.
He's one player who's definitely looking at going and playing in Europe.
There is European interest.
Yeah, and there will be undoubtedly, because he's quick. He's got the head, it seems, on his shoulders. He's come through a solid training system and he gets goals. तो और आपको क्या चाहिए? Plus height वाइट भी ठीक है. It's not like he's a small guy.
Plus I think भाई उनके देश में ना motivation in the sense कि उनके देश में वर्ल्ड कप हो रहा है. तो उनको पता है यार, हमने अगर अच्छा प्रदर्शन किया तो हम तो सेट है जिंदगी भर के लिए. हाँ, हमें वहाँ का शेख या जो भी उनके जो that is motivation,
yeah.
You
and
you're
now
set for life.
Now, for what it's worth, with the politics in the region and the blockade or the economic blockade that's going on of Qatar, they have even more sort of this chip on their shoulder that okay, you make us outcast, doesn't matter, we'll still go ahead and do it. So that angle of extra motivation because of the political and economic situation in the region is also, I think, adding a little bit of extra sort of gung-ho to them.
Now, if you're an Indian fan, don't get so disheartened right now, because there is a bit of positiveness as well, or positive news as well. The fact that it's happening in Qatar, and I don't know if you saw footage of when the boys arrived at the airport. There was I think Manyapada supporters were out there, and there's a large population from South India, Kerala in particular, in Qatar. So at least वो support group तो होगा वहाँ पे.
Some of the best Kerala cuisine in the world is in Qatar. And I mean, like, a lot of working class people, no, because they don't have the local population that wants to do the jobs that, I mean, Indian people do. So there's a lot of immigrants essentially working people who live there, and they come out. I mean, we played the Asian Cup in Qatar in 2011. They were home games for us, yeah, all those 3 games. Full stadiums.
You were there, na?
Yeah. Full stadium. So we played, of course, we played massive teams. We played Korea, we played Australia, and we played Bahrain. But especially in the Bahrain game, where there was a slight chance for a little while when Chhetri scored, and I think Chhetri and Mangi scored the 2 goals. I mean, you could tell यार कि almost 90-10 था crowd support. तो इंडिया के लिए तो home के बराबर वाला गेम है.
नहीं, home के बराबर कहाँ भाई? उनकी भी तो देश के लोग आएंगे वहाँ पे.
हाँ आएंगे. I mean, but
मतलब अपने लोग
numbers हैं यार.
Numbers होंगे वहाँ पे. हमारे numbers एक चीज में तो हम अच्छे हैं. Numbers बनाने में हम अच्छे हैं.
The Indian population or the South Asian population is far higher than the local Qatari population. So the numbers are there. It just depends how many tickets they sold to the away fans and what the scene is.
Fair point. Pretty much going to end the show now. जाने से पहले सर बताओ क्या लग रहा है आपको? I asked John and I put him on the spot. I said, John, look, after all this that you said, tell me, will India pull off an upset? And he's like, why not? It's possible. It's possible.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. But नहीं, यहाँ पे anything is possible की बात नहीं है ना सर.
So
international football doesn't work like that.
I agree. But sometimes it does. So हम तो वही we keep saying this, but उम्मीद पे ही कायम है ना.
नहीं, उम्मीद पे कायम है, but at the end of the day, what you're going to be doing in those 90 minutes is some of what's been happening building up to those 90 minutes. Like in the months building up to the 90 minutes.
एक और एंगल है कि ये जो है ना, तो अब एक कोच है यंग सा ये जो फिलिक्स सांचेज है, स्पेनिश कोच. दूसरी तरफ एक एक्सपीरियंस्ड कोच है इन ईगोस टीम मैच जो इंडिया की कोच है, हाँ, जो अब बिग नेम है. वो वर्ल्ड कप में बड़े प्लेयर रह चुके हैं. वर्ल्ड कप में 3rd प्लेस इनका फिनिश है. एंड सिंस ही हैज कम इन बिकॉज ऑफ सोशल मीडिया एंड ऑल दिस PR स्टफ, गाइज लाइक Luka Modric and all sending messages to the Indian football team. इस सब की वजह से suddenly लोगों को पता चल गया कि इंडिया football team okay. Again the numbers help from a global angle. So this angle of, I think Sanchez will take it as a personal thing to get one over Igor's team match.
ये angle तो कभी सोचा नहीं हमने.
हाँ भाई coaches also have big egos ना. They are also sort of alphas. तो and matlab Felix Sanchez has been given this charge where Qatar has no restrictions like India does about money, shani and all. So if they wanted to, they could bring in the highest profile, biggest name coach from Europe, from anywhere in the world to come. Instead, they have chosen to trust a guy who has been around, spent the time in the country and come through the system. So this guy will constantly be on the thing to prove that I am worth it, that I deserve this opportunity. So I think it will be an interesting tactical battle also. For India the key will, of course,
India's
as
tactics
always,
will be the same भाई. अपने पास plan B है नहीं. कहाँ है अपने पास plan B?
देखें भाई, maybe he pulls a rabbit out of his hat, who knows.
Sir,
कुछ तो करना पड़ेगा ना.
खिलाड़ी तो वही है ना जिनके साथ खेल रहे हो किंग्स कप में, ये कॉन्टिनेंटल कप में.
सही बात है, लेकिन
गोल खाए जा रहे हो.
लेकिन अगर आप किंग्स कप देखें, ठीक है गोल खा रहे हैं.
Thailand, you can't compare Thailand to Qatar.
No comparison of those teams, but I'm just comparing India's performance from the, let's say you started the Kings Cup, then you go on to the Intercontinental Cup, where again the competition was not of the same standard as Qatar, for sure.
Nowhere near it also.
Right. And you look at the performance against Oman in the last game, fifth ko tha. I think there has been, at least in terms of shape, in terms of the team understanding what the tactics are that the coach wants to employ and how we are going to play, there is a much greater understanding. Now, having made these 2 mistakes and lost that game in that critical last 10 minutes, I think our players also, because वो मतलब हमारे जैसे हम ही थोड़ी हैं जो गाली दे रहे हैं उनको, जीता हुआ मैच हार गए. सभी लोग बोल रहे हैं ना, न्यूज़पेपर में भी यही आ रहा है, सोशल मीडिया पे भी यही चल रहा है. And at the end of the day, if we are sick of saying India goes down after a great fight, the same headline जो हम साल repeat करते रहते हैं, तो the players are also sick of it यार. ये भी सोच रहे हैं कि हम साला आजकल इतना पैसा कमा रहे हैं, ये कर रहे हैं, वो कर रहे हैं, हमारे 1 मिलियन फॉलोअर्स हैं इंस्टाग्राम पे, कुछ करने का टाइम आ गया है. So the motivation, I think, undoubtedly is there.
It's different for both the teams.
Yeah. And
different for both the teams.
And Chhetri would have definitely let the guys have it after the last game in terms of just the switching off that happened when those changes came in.
हाँ वो छोड़ा नहीं होगा.
Yeah, again, a thing with Stimac will be how well he manages to sort of retain the fitness and the sharpness of his team, yaar. Because if his first 11 can play till 85 instead of 65, it will make a massive difference to whatever
आएगा
happens.
ना सर, वो तो of course वो तो सबको पता है उसका आंसर क्या है, प्रॉब्लम क्या है कि you're not in competition time right now.
हाँ नहीं
अब आपका
मतलब
ISL जब शुरू हो जाएगा and then your games will come, of course automatically fitness levels, competition levels will go up.
देखें मेरा तो ये डर है कि जब सीजन शुरू हो जाएगा ये और भी स्लो हो जाएंगे.
स्लो हो जाएंगे,
और भी स्लो हो जाएंगे बिकॉज जो लोकल गेम यहाँ पे जो होता है जो
स्लो चलता है वो
जिस टेम्पो, वही मैं कह रहा हूँ ना, जिस टेम्पो से हम यहाँ पे खेलते हैं फिर उस माइंडसेट में हम बैठ जाते हैं. हम हाई टेम्पो फिर कहाँ खेलेगा बंदा यार. वो प्रैक्टिस में भी आराम से खेल रहा है, जब मैच डे है तब भी थोड़ा आराम से खेल रहा है.
वैसे गुड पॉइंट बिकॉज व्हेन बॉब हाउटन वाज कोच and he used to, I remember when we used to go and cover his practices and used to talk to the media, he used to be like, you know, there's a reason why I keep long camps because when I send them back to their clubs they go lower. The competition level goes down.
Dilution
so
हो जाता है
in the
ना
first week or so I'm working on getting their levels up. And
so
then after
because
that I can,
this is what, because here you have 30 बंदे हैं आपके पास जो बेस्ट प्लेयर्स हैं कंट्री के, राइट. जब आप क्लब में जाते हैं वो अपने आप डाइल्यूट हो जाता है. Although to be fair, ISL the standard of foreign players is, I would say today,
much
notch
better
or two higher than the
ID?
Indian players definitely.
Yeah.
And there are larger number of foreigners, so they up the game. But then they also then assume those critical roles. वो center midfield में भी foreigner खेलेगा, striker भी आपका foreigner खेलेगा,
stopper
inevitably stopper भी foreigner खेलेगा.
गोलकीपर है अपना नंबर 1.
तो फिर अगर ऐसे ही चलता रहा तो फिर कहाँ से इन लोग को चांस मिलेगा कुछ सीखने का या डेवलप करने का, बेटर होने का. आप कह तो रहे हैं कि 19 साल की उम्र पे बंदा ATK में साइन कर रहा है या केरला ब्लास्टर्स में साइन कर रहा है, बट खेलने को कहाँ मिल रहा है.
ठीक है, जाने से पहले सर भविष्यवाणी बताओ, क्या आपको मिल रहा है, क्या लग रहा है आपको?
सर मुझे लग रहा है कि जिस हिसाब
टीवी पे
से
नहीं आ रहा ना ये गेम.
क्या बात कर रहे हैं,
टीवी पे नहीं आ रहा. सुनने में तो खबर ये आई है.
ऐसे कैसे हो सकता है?
सुनने में खबर ये आई है कि यहाँ पे ऑनलाइन फीड पे देखना पड़ेगा आपको बैठ के.
ऑनलाइन फीड तो है,
ऑनलाइन फीड तो ऑफ कोर्स मिलेगा आपको. इट्स अ फीफा गेम.
हाँ
तो कहीं ना कहीं तो मिल ही जाएगा.
कहाँ मिलेगा?
ढूंढ लेंगे.
अच्छा
या आप लोग
स्ट्रीम
कमेंट सेक्शन में बता दो यार.
या प्लीज टेल अस यार what is the scene,
because we guys are Neanderthals as far as technology is concerned, man.
and also Pandit's old friends have stopped talking to him, so now we don't even get inside information.
सर भविष्यवाणी जल्दी से.
भविष्यवाणी यार क्या, आई थिंक जिस इंटेलिजेंस से खेल रहे हैं 2-4 लड़के हमारे, आई थिंक we'll get a goal.
You'll get a goal, okay?
I think we'll get a goal, but I think we will lose the game. I don't think it will be like a Afghanistan level, but if these guys can keep their heads together and keep that shape, I think it maybe we'll go down by 2 goals, but we'll get a goal.
Afghanistan had about 5-6 players who were playing in European leagues. Huh?
Yeah, but they have the same issue, man. Like they don't get a chance to play together.
Yeah.
You know, so you can have 10 players playing in Europe, but they are not playing first division in Europe.
Yeah, low level.
They are playing lower level football in Europe. Some of them are pros, some of them are amateur players.
Somewhere on our level only, basically.
Fair enough.
I just feel first 10 minutes very crucial, because ये जो टीम है ना यार, अगर आपने पहले 10 मिनट में गोल खा लिया एंड इन्होंने सेंस कर लिया वो फियर और उनको वो पैसेज दिख गया है, तो ये रुकेंगे नहीं भाई. ये वैसी टीम नहीं है. ये टीम है कि आप जितने मौके दोगे उतने गोल मारेंगे. You know, तो आप 10 मौके हो वो 10 मारेंगे भाई. They will not take their foot off the pedal at all. So I think the first 10-15 minutes very crucial. First 10-15 minutes में अगर चांस मिला और चांस कन्वर्ट किया तो फिर आपकी भविष्यवाणी सच हो सकती है. ठीक है?
Done.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode of 420 grams.
Quick reminder that we will be doing a live blog of that game on www.newsclick.in starting at 9:30 p.m. tomorrow evening. So in case
Tuesday evening.
Yeah.
So in case someone's watching it on Tuesday.
Sorry, Tuesday evening. Tuesday the 10th of September. So yeah, log into that game whether you have access to the game online or not. Especially if you're streaming it online with perhaps Arabic commentary and you don't speak Arabic, then we can help out with that.
Do listen into some of our choicest of words.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.